In previous videos, I already introduced the pyautocad module, which is a module in Python available for AutoCAD automation. We looked at some of the basic objects that you can create with pyautocad in several videos and already looked at a couple of operations. And in this video, I want to cover another blog post that we published as part of our pyautocad documentation on our blog, written by my colleague Tamay. And as a blog post, we provide some documentation on how to conduct some basic operations with Python in AutoCAD. So this is part of our documentation on AutoCAD, and you can find the link in the video description that will take you directly to the blog post. And on our blog, you can also find a lot of other AutoCAD and AutoCAD related posts. I start in this coding example by importing the relevant classes and methods from pyautocad, the pyautocad module. You of course have to install it before you can import those classes and methods. And we're also going to use the math module, so I'm also importing all of the content of the math module in this example. And then I'm creating an empty AutoCAD template, and I proceed by drawing some basic objects. Now for this you can also look at some of the other blog posts I've been writing of how to, for example, create an arc and how to create splines, polylines, ellipse, arcs, and ellipses. What you can see here, I'm calling some methods like the add circle, add line, and add ellipse method. They need different parameters. You can see, for example, if I want to create a circle, I need to provide an AutoCAD point as a center point. Coordinates here are x, y, z, and so on. Also create a line, which is a start point and an end point specified in the x, y axis. And here I create an ellipse. For this, you can also see our other blog posts covering how to create those objects. The first basic operation I will say that I execute, or just a helper function, is the zoom extends method, which zooms out and basically conducts the zoom all command in AutoCAD. So now we will be able to look at all of the objects that we created in our new AutoCAD template with those function calls up here. The first operation, or real operation that I execute, is the copy operation. So I can take my circle object, I can copy it, and I have a second circle. Then I can, for example, use the move operation to move this circle in the XY domain, which is done here. I specify from the previous location, and I specify the new location. Meaning I provide here a vector, right? A move vector by the difference of those two AutoCAD points. And then you can see I created a second point. It's been moved here as specified, because I used first the copy command, or the copy operation, and then the move operation. And further down, we now deleted the first circle. For this, there's also a delete command. I showed that in a separate blog post. I can also rotate objects. So let's, for example, copy the line object, which I'm doing here, and then I take it and I rotate it. Here there's a spelling mistake in my code. This is a comment, but you see I take here the line 2 object and I rotate it around a base point, and then I specify here the rotation angle. I can also execute the offset operation. So this is like taking an object and then drawing it new by a specified offset. This is done here using the offset method. In this case, I executed on the ellipse object, and this will create and return the second object, which is the offset object. Scaling operations is also something we cover in this documentation. So scaling, for this you need to specify a base point for the object that you want to scale, and a scaling factor. In this case, we use the circle. We use its center point as the base point, and then we scale it down to half size. This is what you can see here. The circle has now been scaled down by 50%. If you compare to the previous picture, you can see the changes. Now, if you have a drawing with many objects in it and you manipulated some of them and you want to visualize this for the AutoCAD user, you can use the highlight method, set its parameter value to true, and execute it on those objects that you want to highlight. So here we highlight the line that we copied. So originally we had this line, we then copied it and rotated it. This is what you can see here. And it has been highlighted due to the highlight method.